To win fantasy football, you're going to have to take some risks. Risks, but they got to pay off. Today, we're talking about 6 of the biggest upside players for fantasy football in 2025. 6 guys that do come with some risk, and we'll see that with the first name. Don't you worry. But these 6 guys can win your league. And also, some of them are going at discount due to the high risk. Let's talk about it, man. Now, if you're not on the Discord, we have a big Discord that we're starting up, and we have already free draft guides of 450 players with my personal ranking. So make sure you go join that up, linked in the description. Today, we're going through, and the first name is Mr. Christian McCaffrey. Christian McCaffrey is a guy where, looking at his season stats, in 2024, he obviously had the tendonitis, and everybody scammed us. Nobody knew what was happening with his injury. We go into the redraft season, August. We know he's got an injury. We think it's something, it's not a big deal. It was a big deal. People were still drafting him in round 1, even knowing he was injured. Nobody thought it would keep him out. He only played 4 games in 2024. Honestly, I still don't know if he's healthy, so we'll have to stay tuned. But looking at 2022 and 2023, Mr. McCaffrey played 17 games and 16 games. And in those 2 years, looking at every single year of his career, in 2018, he averaged 24 points per game. All this is PPR. 2019, 29 points per game. 2020, only played 3 games, averaged 30. 2021, only played 7, averaged 18. And then the last 2 years besides 2024, 21 and 25 point per game average. We haven't ever seen a ceiling of that level from anybody. Saquon Barkley rivaled it a little bit due to some, he rivaled it a little bit in 2024, but he's still, McCaffrey is kind of unmatched with how high his ceiling can be. All of his stats, like his yards per attempt in 2023 were 5.4. 2022 was 4.7. So he still is that efficient rusher, but obviously he has the high ceiling due to the reception usage. Now that Deebo Samuel is gone from a pest of that 49ers backfield, like 49ers, Deebo Samuel might have stole some goal line touches if Christian McCaffrey and Deebo Samuel were on the same team. Deebo Samuel, obviously he gets some of the target share. Now that he's gone, McCaffrey, if he's healthy, he's going to have only an injured, coming back from injury, Brandon Ayuk. And Brandon Ayuk wasn't great, even pre-injury last year. So he's got Brandon Ayuk to deal with, Ricky Pearsall, who a lot of people are high on him as a sleeper, that's all fine and dandy and all, but it's Christian McCaffrey. So CMC really only has Kittle to deal with for target share in my eyes. And yes, they draft Jordan James or whatever, and they have Grendo, and they have Jordan Mason. They're all pests. They're not RB1s. They're basically just fallback plans for when Christian McCaffrey goes terribly, tragically wrong. Christian McCaffrey, the ESPN ADP for Christian McCaffrey is number 9. I actually have him ranked a little bit lower. I have him ranked at number 12 on my big board PPR rankings. You got to build in some of the risk. But if we're doing best ball drafts, CMC kind of goes unmatched in my eyes. Number 2, another washed up veteran, Tyreek Hill. Tyreek Hill in 2022 had 20.4 points per game. 2023, and that was all 17 games. He played 16 games, and he averaged 23.5 points per game. And he was averaging over 100 yards per game both those 2 years. 2024, he played all 17 games, and he might as well not have. He might as well have just rest. He had an 82% snap share, which was higher than his last 4 years, but he was playing with the worst quarterback play of all time, which hopefully that's why he was so bad. He averaged 56 yards per game. His touchdown numbers were way down. His yards per route run were down from 4 to 1.9. So he had a really bad year, but it's probably because Tua's brain was mashed potatoes. Now that Tua is supposedly back, it doesn't really matter if he's back, though. It really matters if Tua can stay healthy, because he played a couple games in 2024, but his brain was like a scrambled omelet. It's not even a scrambled egg, it's a scrambled omelet because you can't put the sentence together. But with a healthy Tua Tagovailoa, you gotta price Tyreek Hill as a potential wide receiver 1 in fantasy. And Tyreek Hill, his ESPN ADP, is kind of lower than you might expect. I'm trying to find it right now. Tyreek Hill is number 31 on ESPN, and in my rankings, I think I have him around number 24. So a bit aggressive, but this guy, again, if we're chasing the upside, Tyreek Hill has to be mentioned. Now we go to Xavier Worthy. Xavier Worthy, it's not like it was a surprise. He had a very good year. He's actually ranked 43 on ESPN ADP. Now, if I pull up my big board, Xavier Worthy I have at 45, so it's a little bit lower than ESPN. You might not get him, but there's a reason that I have him a little bit lower. He actually inflated his numbers with touchdowns in 2024. If we look at his yards, he averaged 37 receiving yards per game, 1.3 yards per route run, 0.4 touchdowns per game. It wasn't good. He was the wide receiver 45. Now, the reason that there's such a high hopes for Xavier Worthy is his speed, number one. Patrick Mahomes, he's attached to one of the best quarterbacks for fantasy. I mean, obviously not last year, but Mahomes, we know how good he is in real life. So Worthy does have a lot of high upside, and we saw talent. He could get more utilized in the rushing game. The problem is, Rashee Rice is coming back. Rashee Rice is going to eat into his target share. Xavier Worthy's target share was 17.2%, and he built upon that towards the end of the season. So Xavier Worthy is somebody that could potentially be a league winner if he's able to kind of take that wide receiver one, stretch the downfield role, and actually see a bit more volume in 2025. This is a bit risky, though, because you're kind of paying a late third, early round 4 pick for Xavier Worthy. I like him in best ball, where he'll be put in your starting lineup only if he hits on those big plays. In a redraft league, it's a bit less exciting, but I think Xavier Worthy should still be somebody that's high upside. And the reason we're talking about Xavier Worthy and how it might not be the best is because of this next guy, Rashee Rice. Rashee Rice, he's not playing in the prison league just yet. So he had 3.4 yards per route run in his 4 games last year before the bad knee injury. He is coming back from injury, but all signs are he's good to go. He had a 26% target share in those games, and when we've seen Rashee Rice with Patrick Mahomes, he's averaged about 16, 15 points per game. I expect it to be no different, maybe even higher. Xavier Worthy is kind of that speedster, maybe screens behind the line of scrimmage, deep downfield. And then you got Rashee Rice, who he's more of like the quick slant. He's Michael Thomas. Rashee Rice is more of that Michael Thomas role. And if we can see Rashee Rice, have the number of receptions he was having prior to his injury, he's going to be a PPR god. So Rashee Rice has to be somebody that can be a league winner, especially because he's down draft boards due to one thing, the fact that he should be in prison. He's ESPN ADP number 42. And if I go ahead and pull up my big board, I have Rashee Rice. I have him at number 37, so I'm way higher on Rashee Rice, and I think 37. I mean, realistically, if we expect a healthy Rashee Rice, he could be number 25. So that's just how it is. We got 2 names left, maybe 3. Drake London. Drake London is going at number 20, and I actually have him a little bit. I think I have him around 20 as well, but I think that's it could be a very good pick. His yards per route run were the highest of his career at 2.45. He averaged 16.5 fantasy points per game, but hey, some of that was with Kirk Cousins, right? Okay, so Michael Penix is in, new quarterback. What do we expect from Michael Penix? If we go to the game logs, the last 4 weeks of the season when Michael Penix was in, right? Week 15, Drake London. Again, he was seeing all the snaps, so he was basically out there the whole time. But in week 15, he had 14.3 PPR points. Week 16, he had 10.9, kind of a down week. Week 17, he had 17.6 PPR points. And week 18, he had 41 PPR points. 41. He had 31, do the math, 31 targets his final 2 weeks of the season. He had 17 receptions his final 2 weeks of the season. He had he had 293 receiving yards in his final 2 weeks of the season and 2 touchdowns. And his final week of the season, he averaged 5 yards per out run. He had a target share of, let's call it an average of 38, almost 40% his final 3 weeks of the season. So he has a lot of momentum going into 2025, and that momentum came with his new quarterback, which is why Drake London, if he put up those numbers consistently, he'd be a league winner. We got the final name, and I call it one name because it's basically one name. It's Javonte Williams and Jadon Blue. Javonte Williams and Jadon Blue are going late in drafts, and as of right now, they're the starters for the Dallas Cowboys. Javonte Williams, realistically, besides his rookie season, he's dust. Jadon Blue, late draft capital. I don't know if he's going to be OP or not. I'm not sure. It might just be a committee by backfield. It might be like the Chargers, or not the Chargers. It might be like the Raiders, where they're both dusty. The Raiders of last year, where they're both just dusty running backs, and it's a committee. It might be like that. Or one of these guys could break out. Now, if I had to bet my money, I think it would be Javonte Williams, because Javonte Williams, we've seen talent in his rookie year, and really the thing that derailed him was that injury, which he hasn't fully recovered from, in my opinion. So if we see Javonte Williams do some special things with the Cowboys, he could be a league winner, or they could give the reins to the healthy guy that Jerry Jones drafted. We know Jerry Jones takes personal pride in his draft picks. Jadon Blue could kind of compete for that starting role with Javonte, and if he eats at some of that workload, Jadon Blue could also be a league winner as well. And there it is. 6 names, really 7 names that could be league winners in your 2025 fantasy drafts. Let me know if you want to see more. Smash like and subscribe button. Thanks for watching. Peace.